Today we are talking about don't make a move. Actually, today we're talking about the switching brokerages where we've all done our life. It's scary, or is it? Brian, what are your thoughts?
It's scary when you think about it. It's definitely scary when you think about it. Gosh, I feel like every time I made a change, it took so long, just dreading to do it, just so worried about it. And then, it's really easy. It really is. It's literally a few hours of your life. And then and looking back, it's always been for the better, for the positive.
And probably because you've taken the time to think it through and to make that change. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's really, people don't need to stress out as much as you think you do,
Why do we do that? Because it's like
change. I mean, change is scary. And what's funny though is if you look back, like I always like to do this to myself, and it's like I look back at all the big changes I've made in my life, and they were always for the better. They're always made me grow in my life, personal world and business world. They've always made me grow when I changed.
Yeah.
So it's like now that I'm a little bit older and I look back at that, it makes change a little bit easier. And that's a lot of it, I think. I really think it comes back to change.
I think you're right. Cause
people get comfortable.
People get comfortable. And it's like, even if they're unhappy, I talked to him recently, unhappy at his brokerage, doesn't like it, but in the end, he doesn't want to make a move. Yeah. And it's not because it's everything he's built up. It's just that I think it just comes back to the C word, change.
Yeah.
And we do that as well as I would say as real estate agents. We do this really as humans. We build it up.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we're giving it more energy than it really needs or really is.
Oh yeah.
When you look at it too, is that if you start talking to someone like different person, you start talking through like, why haven't you made the change? You start hearing these things that just like, it's out there, meaning like, well, it's this, and they start looking, and they don't even realize it, but the agent will start looking for the value prop of their broker. Yeah. You can hear it. Well, I get, we've got a great culture. But what they're scrambling to think in their mind, what is the value prop of the broker? And what they overlook, and I want to hear your thoughts and say, what they overlook is the fact that they're their own business. They're their own business.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're looking for the fairy godmother of brokerages, whoever that happens to be, to drop leads in your lap or to drop a how to do video in your lap, or here is this, and you're relying on a feel good culture, that feels good, but you can end up being broke, right? Yeah. What are your thoughts?
No, I completely agree. I think that people, because we both made a change recently to Real Broker, and it was very easy to transfer our license and to transfer any business that we currently had at the time. So it's very simple to do. But I think a lot of people are worried about changing, let's say to Real Broker, that, well, what do clients say?
Yeah. What do they think?
What do they think? And gosh, I feel like for clients, it's almost like sometimes just a question they feel like they should ask, but they don't really care.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what broker are you with? I had never really heard of them. That's okay. And they keep going on. And it's just like, I've ran into a lot of people that didn't even know the biggest broker in the world. They don't even know what it is.
Or they'll get out a name from, 30 years ago.
So it's I think a lot of that scares some agents to make a change to a brokerage, is that they feel that the name of the brokerage is helping them with business. And really at the end of the day, we're independent contractors. We have to remember that. We run our own show, we run our own business. And, when I sit down with a seller, and if they ask what brokerage I'm with, I'm going to let them know we're independent contractors. You can go to the number one brokerage in town and you can hire a complete rock star, or you can hire a nightmare.
Right.
And that's because we're independent contractors and we all have our own business.
Right. It's the 80-20 rule, right? There's any office market center, as we call them at our former shop. Yeah. You're going to get 300 agents, right? Maybe depending on, at our office, there was that number, and that's what a lot of those numbers are. You're going to get the 20-80, 80-20 rule. There's going to be 20% that are producing.
And then from there, you got to find out the good ones that are producing.
That's right. Right. And it's a fit for every seller. And to your point, you're not going to make a decision. If I'm selling my house, I'm not making a decision on that.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm just starting out as an agent, does that maybe give you a little bit of a halo effect? Maybe. But in the end, it's like and I think you kind of outlined, there's two parts to the transition, right? So part one is, if I'm going to make a move to that new company, what is the value prop, right? That's one.
Right.
And then two is, it's the fear-based decision, like, oh gosh, if I leave, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And I think if you look, there is, again, we both made the move, and it's like, part of the decision process, and again, everyone makes a decision a little bit differently, is once you understand the value prop of your current broker compared to where you could be moving, to me, that's when it cleared.
Yeah.
What are we, we're paying X per month, per year, whatever the cap is. What are you getting for that today at your current place?
Right.
And then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off, as it did for me when I made the move to Real. It was like, oh, and someone said, and we talked about this before, why did you make the move to Real? Well, you can start, it's not one reason, right? It never is. It's not about Real. It's you're making a move for a variety of reasons. And for Real, it was everything from the greats, the low cap, the compensation, the stock, the revenue share, and an incredible culture, right? You made that move. And then when you see that move that you want to make there, now you're looking back at your current broker and saying, I'm paying X for what?
Yeah. Why didn't I do that sooner? And it was just, it's, the other thing I hear a lot is that agents love, because this is kind of Real Broker's a cloud brokerage, and the traditional brokerage is where a lot of people are having trouble with leaving the traditional brokerage to go to a cloud broker like Real Broker. And I think a lot of people have that fear of losing that culture that they feel that they like so much at the traditional brokerage. So they go into office, and we used to network with the agents that are in our office. Well, now we get to go on, live Zoom masterminds with some of the top producers all around the country every single day.
It's just mindset. Like,
it's just like, so we used to network with just a small group of people
around a Keurig machine in a physical office,
all here in Michigan, all just, we're realizing, geez, there's a lot of really great agents nationwide that are just doing phenomenal things in such a different way, where the now marketing is and the future marketing. And now we're able to network and, collaborate with these agents. The culture it's not even close.
It's not even close. And that's where I think the agents miss it, right? They hear cloud-based broker, and that's just like, and that translates to like devoid of culture.
Right.
Like there's nothing, like there's just no culture. And that's like the polar opposite of that's the truth. The reality is, if you have a question, if I have a question, I put it out there in how we communicate, and it gets answered by some of the top agents out there.
Yeah.
If I'm looking for information on how to do whatever it is, video, listing presentations, geographic farming, you name it, it's all out there, right?
I've been with 3 other brokers before Real Broker, and I've never had the service I've had in my life with any of those other brokers. It's immediate.
Yeah.
Anytime I have a question with a contract, or anytime I have a question with, getting paid, or whatever it is, whatever the question is, it is immediate.
Getting paid. I mean, that's one of the questions that we've got. People say getting paid. Getting paid at Real is so easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there. And that's a huge, now I think for any agent that's considering any broker, we ask that question: how quickly do I get paid? Because it's your money, and especially in an environment where you're getting the lion's share of it. And how quickly do I get paid? Especially if something's out in the, the quote unquote, the cloud.
Right.
And it's at Real, it's absolutely seamless, so quick. And I think that even speaks to how the transition was. I mean, the transition for you was, tell us about it. But
gosh, I think if I can remember back to it, or basically I'm downloading the Real app, we're signing up on that, and then they direct you on how to do it, and you're going to the Michigan website or whichever state you're in, and you're just transferring your license, and then from there you're going to get introduced to the state broker for Real of whatever state you're in, and you have them approve the license, and you open up the accounts that Real has you open up, and you're done.
You're done.
Now, for your business, the under contracts that you have currently will stay with your previous brokerage, and your active listings you will move to your new brokerage.
That's right.
So that's all it is. And it's just really understanding your old contracts, so to make sure that you're going to get, paid out how you should get paid out for those under contracts.
And that's not a reflection on the new place. Wherever you're going, if it's Real or someone else, your contract with your brokerage is your contract. So
it is what it is.
We're not, we're not having breaking that or doing anything else different. And every state's a little different in terms of what it does, but you are governed by that contract. And here in Michigan, the active listings was pretty easy. Getting back to your earlier point, they're listing with you, Brian Vance, because of you being a pro. So when you call them up and saying, by the way, I'm making the switch, they want to go with you.
Yeah.
right? And they didn't ask who you're with or where you're going.
No.
That was an afterthought. They may have did after. Yes, we're with you. But then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, who you going with?
Yeah.
And you basically you process it accordingly and you put the listing back up, under real. So that's where I think the ease of it is. So it's like, I kind of summarize it. You have it's a big decision, right? And you want to think it through. But to me, the steps are pretty easy. Once you see the value prop and the light bulb goes off to wherever you're going, make the move, and it's not that scary. It becomes
after you do it.
Checklist.
After you do it, you just look back like, why did I have those little things tie me up and I waited so long?
Yeah.
Like it's just like just do it. Every time you look at making a change, it's going to grow you. You're going to grow in a much better way. It's just you just got to get over those little things that are tying you up from making that change.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I had that thought in my head, and again, this is all about mindset. I mean, this whole thing could be just, how do you make a change? Get the right mindset. But there is a little more to it than that. And when I first started when the light bulb went off for me on Real and said, I want to be part of the revenue share and the stock, and I want to be part of this culture. Once that went off, wheels were in motion. But one of the things I did when they were moving, I was making the move, I did pause, that one last pause, say, okay, what business am I losing going there? And meaning in essence, what business did the brokerage provide me, either directly or indirectly? And I couldn't come up with anything.
No,
I was with a great name and a great office.
Yeah.
Arguably the best in Michigan. But if you look at where is that value prop in today's world? Now, yesterday's world could be a little different. In today's world, it wasn't close. And that's when you make that decision to say, I'm moving forward.
We've both been doing this for a long time now. My broker has never given me, a lead. And I think that's what makes real estate tough, right? You get in real estate, you have to figure out, okay, I'm on my own here. We're independent contractors. Let's not forget that. We're on our own.
We do forget that sometimes, right? Like we're looking for someone to hand us
more like it's an employee, as a job. And it's like, you're not being handed anything. You're going to have to figure out everything pretty much on your own. Now every broker has its different way of giving you training and things like this. And, that's where I just think Real Broker is just so far ahead of the game and the real, I don't even think other brokers are really even in the same playing field.
No. And I think
that's how different it is.
Where it becomes is, and you bring up a good point on the whole training is, well, being cloud-based, how do you provide training? Well, it's almost like the question should be flipped to them to say, as a physically based brokerage, right? How do you get people to come into an office and sit in on trainings, right? So I think it's an advantage, even though that's kind of the general on cloud-based brokers. How do you provide all this training? There's no people. Well, one, we're all stockholders. That's number one at Real, right? So we're all partners. We all want to help each other out. We're all stockholders. And as importantly, we have the venue to do it. It's cloud-based. We're not trying to cram people into a conference room and go to different multiple offices and hope people come in at a certain time. It's purely, it's the Netflix where you can subscribe and watch and get trained whenever you want.
It's the ease of doing everything. I mean, it's like the app is so easy. All of your transactions right there. All of everything that where you're at in your cap, how much money you've made so far this year, your revenue share, your stock equity is in there, your state broker contact info is in there. And then the other app is Workplace, which is, a Facebook company that is for these businesses. And Real Broker has its own Workplace account that basically, in my opinion, makes a large company feel very connected and very small.
Yeah.
And it has everything you need in there, whether you want to order signs or, swag or business cards or your trainings and things like that. It's all there.
You have an interest. You have a,
there's a bunch of ways to get questions answered. You can go into Workplace, just ask the agent community. You can go to the support line through Real. You get you're going to have your contact info for your state broker, which is, I know that you and I use a lot, and they're great.
It's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy, and you get a better answer. Meaning, because there's more people are answering it, so by definition, you're getting a better answer.
Well, everyone's really proud and happy to be with Real Broker. That's what I found so far. So it's just like our state broker. So he is, over everything.
They're super responsive.
Yeah.
So any last thoughts on making a change or the process to make a change before we wrap up?
I can't. I mean, I think we covered it all. The big thing is just getting over that hurdle of change and have the trust that that change is going to grow you. That's going to grow your business. And it's just figuring that out in your mind, and then things will
and the change happens.
Go real good. Yeah.
All right.
So